aggressive action to tame sky-high inflation.
We have both the tools we need and the resolve that it will take to restore price stability on behalf of American families and businesses.
Tonight, we're going in depth on the Fed's latest interest rate hike, how it's impacting your money.
Don't take on as much debt, because whatever you take on, it's going to cost you more.
And your chances of buying a home.
We need more buyers to come out. We're increasing our inventory.
Plus, a bomb threat forcing one metro school to cancel classes.
It's really shocking, and it's like, why would you do something like this?
Students sharing their concerns with Denver 7 over returning.
I definitely didn't feel safe coming back.
And some residents in Denver's Rhino district say complaints surrounding one business are falling on deaf ears.
People who live there want to live in a vibrant community. What they don't want is for it to be disruptive.
Good evening, and thank you for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Jessica Porter.
And I'm Amy Wattis. For a historic fifth time this year, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates by another 3/4 of a point to help lower record high inflation.
Today's announcement by Fed Chairman Jerome Powell brings the short-term rate to between 3 to 3.25%. Those higher interest rates mean higher borrowing costs for those taking on debt in the form of credit cards, mortgages, and car and student loans.
The hope is that it will help slow the continuing rise of prices for homes, gas, and food. Americans paid 8.3% more for goods in August compared to a year ago.
However, there are signs higher interest rates have cooled some costs. The housing market has weakened, while construction of new homes has slowed.
Denver 7's Rob Harris joining us live in the studio now. Those costs already affecting those in the market for a new home.
Yeah, Amy, in a couple of ways. You mentioned those cooling prices, but we're also seeing lower buying power with the mortgage rates, about double what they were a year ago. So the result has been houses sitting on the market for a lot longer than they were even just a year ago.
Joanne Page has spent 13 years renovating, getting her house just right.
We just thought right now would be a perfect time, to do that.
It culminated in her pride and joy. Her garage turned second living room.
I love the fact that in the morning you can just sit here and just sunbathe, and it just feels so good. I love it.
The time's been coming to close the chapter on this house and begin a new life out of state. Paige and her husband first listed the house in 2020 when the market was white hot.
We had multiple offers, we had multiple showings, like literally my phone was like beeping every 5 minutes because it was just showing after showing.
Despite the intense interest in their home, the Page family pulled it off the market in 2020, wanting a couple more years in Colorado. They re-entered the market mid-August of this year, and they found a completely different dynamic.
You can definitely tell it has definitely subsided. And so I don't feel like we're in a bad place. I think that everyone was just kind of spoiled, houses going on the market in a day and being sold the very next day.
The Pages came to the decision with their realtor this week to drop their listing price by about $30,000, adjusting to lower buying power from buyers amid the higher mortgage rates. Their agent, Joy Dysart, says she's having conversations with her buyers and sellers as the market shifts and expectations need to be adjusted.
We're just not getting enough showings. There is some feelings of what is going to happen next. But I think overall we're in a great location. We live in Denver. We're still have low inventory. So I think it will still go, maybe not as fast, and I think that might be good.
For now, Joanne Page is keeping her head up and is hopeful the stars will align and the right buyer will come along, even if it is a longer process than she had first anticipated.
I don't feel like we're in a bad place. I just feel like we're kind of just leveling things out, and I still feel good about it.
So brokerage firm Redfin found that Denver tied with Sacramento, coming in 5th in the nation for the fastest cooling housing markets last month. But even still, it lists Denver as one of the most competitive and expensive markets in the nation, which is why the Page family feels confident they'll find the right buyers for their right home at the right time. Jessica.
All right, thank you, Rob. It's definitely still a tough market out there. And going further in depth tonight, the stock market ended the day in the red after the Fed's announcement today and the threat of future rate hikes to control inflation. The Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ were each down roughly 1.7%. And according to the Fed, they don't expect this hike to be the last. The Reserve expects interest rates to hit 4.6% in the next year, inflicting yet another round of economic pain for millions of Americans that have debt. So let's take a closer look at what that current rate hike means for you. For example, if you have a $5,000 balance on credit cards and are making minimum payments, you're already paying an additional $870 a year in interest. After today's hike, that will increase to $1,100. Personal finance author Michelle Singletary recommends holding off on big purchases until the overheated economy stabilizes.
Is this the right time? Can you wait before you jump into the housing market or to buy that new car? Because it's going to cost you more.
The Fed's move does have a silver lining for some. Economist Mark Zandi says higher rates could benefit savers.
Ultimately, this should be a plus for you because you'll get a higher rate on that.
The Fed is also predicting that the unemployment rate, which is now under 4%, could rise as well, saying today it expects it to go up to 4.4% next year.
Students at Adams City High School spent the day at home Wednesday as police investigated a bomb threat made the day prior. Adams 14 school district officials said the threats were made on social media on Tuesday, prompting them to close the school Wednesday as a precaution. This comes just one day after the school was placed on lockdown on Monday when a student brought a gun to campus. While Commerce City Police determined the bomb threat was not substantiated, students like Lionel Martinez say they are afraid to go back to school following both incidents.
It was pretty scary when the lockdown happened because no one had any idea what was going on. None of the teachers knew, and now it's like, oh, well, there's another bomb threat going on.
Adams 14 officials spent the day visiting district campuses in an attempt to restore a sense of safety for students and teachers. Adams City High School resumes as normal tomorrow. Denver Public Library locations will have extra patrols because of an unspecified threat. The threat forced all locations to close today. Denver police say the threat came from outside of Colorado and that other threats had been sent to libraries across the U.S. The library has not said if locations will be open tomorrow.
A derailed RTD car is forcing the intersection of Exposition and Sable, just south of the Aurora Town Center, to remain closed until tomorrow morning. 3 people were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and 24 others were able to walk off the train on their own. RTD is investigating what caused the R-Line train to derail, and it's unclear what time the intersection will reopen. Shuttle buses are being used in the meantime. A local civil rights lawyer is accusing the city of Denver of violating the terms of a legal settlement when it comes to homeless encampment sweeps. Andy McNulty sent a letter to Mayor Michael Hancock and the entire city council today. He accuses the city of using brutal tactics to clear out encampments, which violate the Lyle v. Denver settlement agreement. Back in May, a federal judge ruled Denver no longer had to give 7 days notice before clearing out an encampment. The city agreed to still give that notice as part of the settlement agreement. Mayor Michael Hancock's office sent us a statement about the lawsuit. It says in part, quote, "We have always respected and will continue to abide by the terms of the Lyle settlement and how 7-day posted large encumbrance cleanups are conducted." It goes on to say that the mayor expects all city employees with respect to treat unhoused residents humanely and with dignity.
A local gathering place that operates as a restaurant, bar, and music venue in Denver's River North neighborhood is in hot water, and this is not the first time. Denver is investigating if the venue violated its license with the city. I spoke with the attorney representing some of the people who live near this business, saying the noise coming from the venue is too loud. According to a complaint filed in this case, number 38 committed 14 violations since its cabaret and liquor license was renewed on May 5th. Those violations happened between May 8th and August 20th. The terms of the license renewal has some restrictions the venue must follow. However, the complaint claims number 38 violated the restrictions where amplified music and music with drums must only be played indoors, and when that music is playing, all exterior doors and windows must be closed.
Within 4 days, they were violating. They were playing music outside speakers amplified. and the neighbors complained.
Downey says number 38 has not followed the rules since they opened for business nearly 2 years ago. He told me he wants to see the business shut down.
The best thing in the world would be for their license to be revoked, and then let the owners of the property find another tenant, a good tenant that can operate it. This is a great venue. It should be part of the fabric of a vibrant RiNo.
A virtual hearing will take place next month to determine whether or not number 38's license should be suspended or revoked. I reached out to number 38 to see if they had anything to say about this, and they told me they have no comment.
The Justice Department is given the green light to resume its criminal probe using the classified documents seized from former President Trump's Florida home. The appeals court decision reverses a trial judge's ruling that blocked federal investigators' work on the documents. It also partially halts the special master's review of that subset of about 100 records, which would have allowed Trump's legal team to see them. However, the special master is able to continue his work reviewing the rest of the material.
The only thing worse than a job left unfinished is work that never started.
We've invested $29,600, and all I have is a pile of steel in my backyard.
We continue our coverage on the Colorado contractor accused in a string of bad jobs, and another victim who says they learned the hard way.
It's devastated us financially, and I just don't want to see that happen to anybody else.
Showers and thunderstorms across the state for tonight and tomorrow, coming up when the sun will return.